Let's be real, in pretty much any organization today, we are swimming in data. But more often than not, having all that data feels less like you've found a treasure map and more like you're just lost in a maze. So, today, we're going to talk about how to turn that confusing maze into a reliable compass, all by using a really powerful tool called a data catalog.
You know the feeling, right? If you have ever worked with data, I am sure these questions hit close to home. You find what looks like a perfect data set, but then you're immediately slammed with all this uncertainty. What even is this? Where did it come from? And of course, the big one, can I actually trust this enough to make a real decision? It's this universal headache of being lost in the data wilderness.
And that feeling? Well, it has a name. It's called the data discovery problem. In today's world, data is just everywhere. It's in databases, it's in the cloud, it's in a million different spreadsheets. So finding the right piece of data, the one you can actually trust, can feel completely impossible. It really is like searching for that proverbial needle in a massive and constantly growing haystack.
And this right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the matter. Look, the problem isn't the data itself. It's the total lack of context. If you don't know what the data means, or where it's from, or who's responsible for it, then it's all just noise. It's basically useless. You can't use it, you definitely can't trust it, and there's no way you can govern it. So how do we get that context? How do we fix this? The answer is something called metadata. You should think of it as the secret ingredient. It's the data about the data. It's what gives it meaning and a backstory and ultimately real value. It is the key that unlocks everything else.
So at its most basic level, the definition is super simple. Metadata is just data about data. It's like the instruction manual or maybe the label on the box that tells you everything you need to know. What its structure is, where it came from, what it means for the business, and even its entire history.
All right, let's make this real for a second. Imagine you've got a single column in a table called sales amount. The metadata instantly tells you what it is, total amount of sales. It tells you its technical format, who owns it, yep, the finance team, and where it came from, the point of sale system. Boom. Just like that, a random number becomes a trusted piece of business information.
So, okay, why should you care about all this? Because when you manage your metadata, and you do it well, you're doing so much more than just organizing stuff. You're actually making your teams way faster, you're building real trust in the numbers, you're enabling strong governance, and you're laying the essential groundwork for every single analytics or AI project you could ever want to launch.
Okay, so we've established we have all this incredibly valuable metadata, but where does it live? I mean, how do we make it easy for everyone to get to it? This is where the hero of our story comes in, the data catalog. This is the centralized platform that's built specifically to organize all this metadata in one single searchable place. Seriously, if you take away just one thing from all this, it should be this right here. A data catalog is basically Google, but for your company's data. It's a simple idea, but it's so powerful. Instead of searching the web, your teams can search for, understand, and find all the internal data they need to actually do their jobs. And of course, just like Google isn't only a search bar, a data catalog is packed with all these powerful tools. You get that amazing search and discovery, for sure. But you also get a business glossary to define all your terms, data lineage to see exactly where data came from, ratings and tags so you know what's useful, and clear ownership. It's a whole ecosystem for understanding your data. Okay, so how does this whole thing actually work under the hood? It's a pretty logical flow, really. First, the catalog connects to all your different source systems, wherever the data actually lives. Then it automatically ingests, or kind of vacuums up, all that rich metadata. It organizes everything into one central hub. And finally, your users can just log in, search, and discover whatever they need. It sounds simple, but when it's all automated, it is incredibly powerful. Now let's talk about one of the biggest payoffs of all of this, trust. A data catalog isn't just a search engine. It's a really powerful engine for data governance. This is how you transform that chaotic, messy data swamp into a well-managed, totally reliable, and genuinely valuable business asset. And let's be super clear about what we mean by governance here. This is not about bureaucracy or locking things down and saying no all the time. It's about building confidence. It's about knowing your data is secure, knowing you're compliant with regulations like GDPR, and most importantly, knowing that the numbers people are using to make critical decisions are actually trustworthy. And the tools themselves? Oh man, they have evolved dramatically. If you look back at the traditional, old-school catalogs, everything was manual, everything was siloed. But modern data catalogs are a whole different beast. We're talking about automatic metadata syncing, visual data lineage that you can actually follow, and tools that encourage collaboration. Plus, they connect to everything from the cloud to your AI models. It is a massive leap forward. So, what's next? Where do we go from here? Well, this technology is not just sitting still. Not at all. The data catalog is very quickly becoming the foundational platform for the entire future of how we work with data. It's shifting from being a passive library to an active, intelligent system. Just take a look at some of these trends. We're now seeing AI that can automatically write documentation for your data. We're seeing metadata that updates itself in real time. But my personal favorite, it's this idea of data product marketplaces, turning the catalog into an internal app store where people can literally go shopping for certified, ready-to-use data sets. This isn't just about finding data anymore. It's about delivering it as a finished product. So at the end of the day, what are we really talking about here? It's all about a total transformation. By grabbing all that metadata and putting it into a data catalog, we are fundamentally changing what our data even is. We're taking it from being a raw, confusing liability and turning it into a well-documented, searchable, and governed asset, one that's ready for any kind of intelligence you want to build with it. So let me just leave you with this one last thought to chew on. We've been talking about data catalogs as a way to find answers to our questions. But what if the next generation of these tools becomes proactive? What if your catalog was so smart it didn't just help you find data, but it actually started suggesting entirely new questions that you hadn't even thought to ask yet? Now that's when this stops being just a tool for discovery and starts becoming a true partner in innovation.